I know. I'm gonna have an open mic night.
All of our games are corny. We just make them fun.
Alright, we good.
Bro, you
That
didn't tell me
shit,
you was...
we need to use
I
that.
need to get closer to the
I was
mic.
testing the shit.
We need to use that.
All of my
On
games.
something, I don't know what.
Oh shit, I think it's all
You
him.
get closer to the mic then.
Peace, peace, peace. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, welcome back to the Black Guild Podcast where we talk about food, land, and liberation. Hey, kick us off, Mary A. Blige.
What's up, y'all? We back with another episode of the Black Guild Podcast. And we're here with the person that's not here, but that's really here, but he's not here. Dwayne E. Not Lee.
Yeah, our brother, Dwag Lee Bonio, Lee Bone.
Lee Capone.
He's out today, and he's out for a very joyous occasion. Yeah. He's on his honeymoon, and so we're really excited to be here with you.
Congratulations!
And I'm gonna try to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like he do it, but I know I'm not gonna be able to do it. But before we get into everything, I just want to introduce our guest, who's really not a guest to us at Black Guild Institute, but a guest to the podcast. We got Sister Sha'Von Terrell, Deputy Director of Black Church Food Security Network, and not only that, steering committee member of Cherry Hill Food Co-op. Not only that, on the on the committee for our research work that we do here, and not only that, just an all together bad mother. Shut your mouth. All right, I'm gonna be quiet.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, welcome. How you feeling?
I'm good. It
What
feels
you gonna
good
say
to be here with you all.
I'm happy for you to be here because I finally have a female this time. It's
Don't do that.
Yes.
Well,
Tyler
it's only
was on
one,
here.
but that was a long time ago. So now
Dan, y'all was on here last week, but you had never mind.
But we represent for the girls, the women today.
Remember you had COVID?
He ain't my friend.
Remember you still on that? That's crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
But
Well, I heard you
we-
had a new game for us though. You got
We did. So listen, Lee's not here again. We miss you, and congratulations. But I'm taking over. You might not have a spot when you come back. It's like no.
Hey, remember the 500 beats? You want my spot flash? Oh, you can't get it.
Bridgerton gonna come back mad. It's like no.
No.
So no, listen, yo. So the game is guess your food. So how it goes is I'll give you 2 clues to guess what I am. You want me to go first to like?
Yeah, start us off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. So I am fire plus a dog. What am I?
A hot dog?
Yeah, I'm hot.
Are you for real? Oh, hot plus a dog.
Hot plus a dog.
I was
I'm
about to
not
say-
thinking fire.
I was
Like
thinking
fire dog.
like Animal Protective Services. That's
Oh my god, no. So y'all get it? Y'all get it?
All right, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, you go, Eric.
You want me to go? I got this one. This is gonna be generic, but I'm at the sand, and oh shit, I fucked that up.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna tell him to take it out. All right, I'm sorry. I'm at the beach, and I come out during Halloween.
Oh. What?
At the beach.
Pumpkin? I mean, no, they ain't at the beach.
Candy corn.
Beach.
At the beach? Come out during Halloween.
Yeah, sandwich.
Oh, this game had me
That's
really
clever.
thinking. Sandwich. That was good. That was good. I got another one, but I ain't gonna say it. But go ahead.
No, you should.
No, let her go.
I don't know if I can play this game. I've been trying to think of what can I say. I am. Hold on, let's pause this. Wait, I wasn't prepared for this. I was not prepared for this. Let me Google what I can be real quick.
Here goes some right here. One here. Do you a potato and a French fry?
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, y'all gotta do that.
All right.
That's a
You
good
got
one.
me surprised. What'd you say? A potato?
You're a potato and a Frenchman.
Oh, okay.
So you're a French fry.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we started.
There you go. You like what you got.
All right, so tell me what you got. What you got? We got.
Okay. I am a potato and a Frenchman.
What? French onion soup? A potato and a Frenchman?
French fries?
Yes,
A potato and a Frenchman? I would say wee wee.
Oh wait! Oh no! Oh my lord!
Hey, that's a good one. Didn't you say you had another?
It was no, that was it. It's okay. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna do one?
No.
All right, can I do one?
Go ahead. One more. Go ahead.
All right. I don't know how to say this dang good thing. I don't know. Whatever it was gonna be taco.
All right, well, I got one more. Then we're gonna move on. 'Cause I just found this online, but this is really funny. Don't try to look. So, I am a bell. I am a jalapeno. A bell and a jalapeno.
Oh, bell pepper.
Okay, right, that was it. You got it.
Yeah.
That was good. All right,
Bell
go ahead,
pepper.
go ahead.
Wait, I think I got one now.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. I'm slim and I go to the gym.
Slim Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, never do a Slim Jim. Oh yeah. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was good. That was good. I like that little game. That was cool. Hey, so look, I'm really excited about getting into this topic. It's something that's really important for me. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with our sister, and really just excited about what is coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for today, we want to talk about like the role of faith, and particularly the Black church in food sovereignty. And I felt like in a topic like that, who better than the Black Church Food Security Network as a organization focused hyper-locally in Baltimore but do work across the country. Who else, you know what I'm saying, better? And if we were on Drink Champs, we would have the you know what I'm saying, the clap, you know what I mean, joint come through. And so, you know, I guess in starting the conversation, can you talk to us a little bit, you know, about what Black Church Food Security Network does? So considering, you know, that folks might not know what Black Church Food Security Network is, tell us a little more about, you know, about y'all, maybe some history and what y'all do.
Yeah, for sure. So the Black Church Food Security Network, our mission is to build, in partnership with churches and farmers, community-based food systems that are anchored by the resources that's found within the Black church community. So the history, how did we get started? How did this come to be? So in 2015, in the midst of the Baltimore uprising, everybody know about the Baltimore uprising, right? It was a result of Freddie Gray's death in police custody. So during that time, the MTA service was shut down, right? So many communities, specifically Black communities, were without transportation as a form of access to acquire healthy and nutritious food. So the founding church of the Black Church Food Security Network, Pleasant Hope Baptist Church, has been known in the community as a place where you can get fresh food. It has been known as a community garden church, right? A church that owns a community garden. So many of the community leaders, residents, reached out to the founder and the pastor of Pleasant Hope, who is the founder of the Black Church Food Security Network, to use some of the food, to share some of the food that's being grown in the garden with those communities through those churches, right? So the garden is small, 1,200 square feet, right? It grows 1,100 pounds of produce, nowhere near enough to feeding a group of people or a community. So what he did was he partnered with farmers on the eastern shore of Maryland to get some of their produce to those communities, and the church was used as a medium of doing so. So when we talk about we're using the assets found in the church, the assets were used then. So the church van got on the road to meet those farmers. That commercial kitchen was used to wash and prep their produce and put in the bags, right? That multi-purpose room was used to package up. Church van put back on the road again to disperse and distribute the food. So in all, that's the idea of the Black Church Food Security Network. We are empowering churches, historically African American congregations, to like reimagine their assets for liberation and for Black food and land sovereignty.
Yeah, that's dope. And I know we're going to talk more about it. And if I'm honest, I knew that story. I've heard that story tons of times, but it sounds differently.
I didn't.
You know, from you. Well, I mean, what was your impression?
I didn't. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, you grew up in church. You know what I'm saying? You grew up singing on the choir, right? You told me that. Yeah, see?
I only sung one time.
That's Mary A. Blige.
Yes.
Go to sleep.
You know what I'm saying? No, you about to go to sleep with the sunglasses. But anyway. But no, seriously, I heard that story, but I really appreciate you lifting it up because it shows the different dynamics of what it takes to do that from, you know, but the central piece being that the Black church, as it's always been historically been a bedrock for community services, community help, mutual aid and all of that, and we'll get into some of that later as we talk about it. But tell us a little bit about, we mentioned at the onset about you being deputy director, but what does that mean? Like, what do you do?
Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I do some of everything. So the organization is small, but we have grown rapidly within the last year and a half. So we work with churches, like I mentioned, and we have partner churches from different parts of the U.S., and Baltimore being our hub, to Florida, Texas, Nebraska, right?
Nebraska? They got Black people in Nebraska?
Yeah, Omaha, yes.
Oh, okay.
And
that's the only place, right? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, and when I tell you, Claire, UMC church that we work with, lit. They have an orchard. They have a community garden in Omaha, Nebraska. So I help churches to get started. So if they want to start a community garden, I provide like the training programs of doing so. If they want to support Black farmers, I try to connect them to Black farmers, because our goal, right, is to build micro-based food systems anchored by churches. So I am helping them take a step in that direction of like, first, like assessing your assets. What is your role in this food system? Because I believe that everybody has a role in Black liberation, right? I believe that every church has a role in liberation and food sovereignty. And it's up to us to determine and to do the research, right, and to do the work to determine what our role is that aligns with our purpose and our skill set. So I am helping churches to do just that. Like, what assets do you have? You got a lot of commercial kitchens. Like, you got a commercial kitchen. All right, can you do food processing? You have many church vans, right? And you close to farmers. What about being a distributor? So I am helping churches to do just that, because if we're going to build this food system, like if we're going to really fight against food apartheid and end it and get to the point of being sovereign, like we got to do it collectively. It's not going to take one organization to do it. It's not going to take one church to do it. It's not going to take one farmer to do it. But it's just going to have to be a collective effort of all of us working towards a common goal.
What is the process of getting started in a community if a church wanted to get involved with your organization?
Yes.
Program?
So the process is like fairly simple. Like the church expresses interest. We capture some basic information about the church location, ministries that's already active at the church. Because what we try to do is kind of like intersect our programming with the culture of the church, rather than create something totally new within the culture of the church. So if the church already has a food ministry, it's like, okay, well, how can we shift the purchasing of this food ministry to support more Black businesses and Black farmers? And then if a church want to start a community garden, the question is, okay, so where's the community garden going to be located, and who's actually going to steward the land? And that's where like the internal organizing happening, and then also the internal asset mapping happens too. It's like, well, where are the gardeners in the congregation? Where are the herbalists in the congregation? Because we ask each church to at least have a ministry of 3 to really sustain that program. And it really depends on the interest level of the church to decide, like, what is their turnaround time to getting active. It can be as short as like a month. We held one church in Baltimore, Mount Ararat, get started within like 2 months because they was ready to go. So on Earth Day, we was like, we're gonna have a garden lunch. We're gonna provide like the soil, the seed, the raised beds. We get them $500 to get started. It's like, okay, here you go, and then here's the consistent trainings to support that. So it really depends on the ministry of the church. And in the midst of COVID, a lot of churches have like started like food pantries and food distribution programs anyway. So the shift has been easier to say, okay, let's stop real quick, getting our food from the food bank, this highly processed foods, to get to our community that's going to adversely affect our health, and let's be more conscious about where we're sourcing our foods from. So that's how we started like our Black Church Supported Agriculture Program, to help with that shift, because we saw a shift in church culture in the midst of this pandemic. And then that has been easy because our distributions are bi-weekly, and they order with us the same way they ordered through the food bank. And then we drop it off the same way that they would drop it off with anybody else. So yeah, it really depends on the interest level and the engagement of the church we're working with.
That's interesting. So at least from my perspective, and I know you got more questions, but like, I feel like what's really powerful about what you're lifting up is that, well, one, what it sounds like you're doing directly and what the organization is doing at large is helping churches reimagine what they can do.
Right.
So like, for example, and I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying, I might be the biggest heathen on this road. But the only reason I say that is because I was like very active, you know, in several growing up, but a black church, until I decided that like that just wasn't the pathway for me. I still, you know, I consider myself a follower of Jesus, but church just kind of like, you know. So where you are helping churches reimagine, we needed a Black Church Food Security Network because it was in the lack of reimagination that my little young 20-something-year-old was like, I'm gone, forget y'all, but I ain't use them words, I use something else. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think from my perspective, what I really appreciate about that is if we're going to move toward liberation, you can't do that without reimagining. And if you help somebody, like, we know we got the kitchen, but if you can help somebody think, like, you know your kitchen can be used for liberation. Like, what you mean? Oh, how you think that can work? Oh, it's 3 other churches doing that, right? Like, that's pretty powerful. And, like, the camaraderie that comes with that, if you see 2 churches down the street, a mosque over there doing the same thing, I can do that too. So just weaving this network, I think that's powerful. And then secondly, I feel like as an organizer, what comes to mind for me that I think is extremely powerful is that y'all are organizing within the culture of the organization, because then that's your best chance to organize instead of trying to create something new. You start with where people are, and if there's movement from there, then it happens because the people are ready for that. That's really powerful. That's powerful. That's really powerful.
And then I just want to say, like, the whole idea of, like, leaving the church, I can raise my hand and say that was me, too, for sure. And it wasn't until I learned about, like, the Black Church Food Security Network, the founder, Dr. Brown, participating in the uprising. That's how I found out about him, right? Because my first internship when I moved here, I had to interview people who participated in the uprising. And then I was like, wait, this pastor? The organized people and out there protesting too. Like, let me go to his church and see what they talking about.
And guess who made me believe a little bit more in the possibility of the church?
Hebrew Brown
III, through a blog that he had back in the day. And I was like, yo, that's what I was trying to be. Why I ain't meet him 3 years ago? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And interestingly enough, you know, people won't know this, but I was on like the coordinating committee for Black Church Food Security Network. Years ago.
I knew that.
I know you know. But that's why it's not like the story not unfamiliar to me. But I feel like even since I've been there, the strategy has grown in terms of how you engage churches and and all. So I just think it's powerful, like real powerful.
Yeah. I just got so much to say, but
Look, say it. This is a conversation.
I'm gonna say,
for
we
sure.
got questions, but let's talk.
Oh, for sure, because my whole idea of like Christianity was, just pray about it. And I'm like, oh no, that just doesn't sit well with my spirit, right? Because I try to be like a spiritual person. I try to be led by, the spirit. What is God telling me to do in this moment? How are my steps being ordered? And my steps are not being ordered in the spirit of just sitting. Because I'm like, my people didn't just sit. Like, we not here today because people was just sitting. Like, people were organizing, using their resources, mobilizing them to get to the point of freedom, right? And then the church historically, like studying HBCUs, you graduate from HBCU, I graduated from an HBCU. They both got ties in the church.
For sure.
Tuskegee University, Booker T. Washington being the first principal, not the founder, but the first principal. So while he was going down there to build the campus, the students were building the bricks to actually build the campus. He getting the curriculum together. But the first classes were held at a church. Right? Morgan State University was founded because a group of pastors came together to say we need this for our community. And I'm saying like the pastors are the ones that work directly for the community.
Absolutely.
Like their salaries, their stipends, whatever come from their members, the congregants. Right. So I'm like, why would we sit on that and be quiet about injustices within our community, right? The opportunity is now, like, pastors are free up. They don't got to worry about, somebody not signing their check because they decided not to speak on anything. And I'm like, we just need to embrace that spirit again. And I just love the fact that that's what the Black Church Food Security Network is doing. And that's why so many millennials, I can say that as a millennial, are attracted to what we're doing. Like I did a survey a while ago, and someone said on the survey, it was anonymous, and they said, I actually came back to this church because I saw that this particular church was invested in my community and actually cared about my well-being. And I think that's the dots that we need to connect.
Yep, that's real.
That's where you start.
That's real. Hey, listen. Now I'm gonna let everybody know about something. I don't want to put you up there like that, but before we got started, you was acting like, you know what I mean, I ain't know what I'm gonna say, and then you just like. Anybody got fire extinguisher? Because we got to put out that fire on the mic this morning.
I'm sitting over here like that.
Hey, I appreciate that, and I know that that's your truth because we've talked about it, and so I feel like that's really powerful. And that last point that you talked about, because I know that there's a question about impact, but like that is a good anecdote. Like a millennial who's like, and we know millennials are like, man, church, right? Yeah, we can't say that word on here, so I won't say it, but to hear that, you know what I'm saying, that's extremely powerful. Like, all right, what I want to see in the world is happening at church, so I'm going to church. Yeah. Because if it was happening at the club, the millennial would be going to the club too. Sure. But that's another story.
That's a whole nother topic.
Don't have me preaching today.
No, that's
turn to the Bible of life.
That's a whole nother topic. So like to be involved, to have the churches. Are there any churches involved with BY?
Yeah, I mean, like real. So. I mean, I feel like that's critical. There was a question I know we talked about offline about like impact. Do you feel like it's still relevant to kind of wrap with that?
Yeah, because that's how it impacts the community. So when starting, that was my original question. How soon after do you see an impact in the community? Yeah,
I think it depends on the church, but also I have seen the impact same day. We used to have markets the first Sunday of every month at Pleasant Hope Baptist Church, pre-COVID, right?
What were they called?
The Soil to Sanctuary Markets, right? Yeah. So the impact, right? We were bringing black businesses, bringing black farmers to come in and sell their produce directly to the community. So we're giving those farmers like a niche market, a niche and consistent market to come in and sell their produce. So at first, right, we weren't charging a vendor fee, but we was like, okay, so we have been growing. People are coming from the community. Like, people are actually in the multi-purpose room waiting on church to end for the market to start.
For them to buy their first
Yes.
produce. So they giving a benediction. They like, look, when the farmers come out here.
Right. And then so the market didn't start right until church ended, because we would have music. It would be a whole experience to really show people, like, although this is held at the church, it's still a community event, and everyone is welcome, a part of the community, whether you believe in Jesus or not, whether you're a member of this church or not, whether you have the same belief system as us or not, right? Everybody can come in. So we would have the DJ playing. We did like was it the Black August event, and we had a grill off, right? And then we had,
I think I remember that.
Yeah, so each event was different. And then we had like a jollof rice cook-off, because we was trying to bring in different like demographics of our community, right? We wanted to bring in, we had like a Nigerian and Ghanaian jollof rice. Like, who got the best jollof rice? And who got the best ribs? And then the ribs came from Black-owned farmer. So we saw that our markets have been consistently growing from month to month. So we was like, okay, so let's see, can our vendors give like a love offering back to the church? So we asked them to give 10%, right? And then so we had anything from like $20 to $30 for like a 2-hour market.
Hold up. So you telling me that they making like $200 or $300
for
in 2 hours?
Yes.
So $100 or $150 an hour.
Yes.
Yo,
yes.
That ain't no little bit.
Yes.
Farmers ain't making a lot of money.
Regional
and the fact that, like, you talking about very don't say that. Don't. We don't want you.
I'm just joking.
No, but I think that that's really powerful. Like, you talking about real economic impact, like immediate.
Right.
Like, that's wild.
Right, and that's just one. That's just one lane to the to measure our impact. The other way is like the people, right? So you know me, I'm a organic researcher. I'm like, I want to know if we making an impact or not. So I did the survey, like I mentioned before, where somebody was like, they came back to the church because of it. And I also asked, like, is the food that is being sold here fresher than where you normally shop? Like, majority of the participants said yes. Majority of the participants said they get their produce from them, from the markets on a monthly basis. And majority of the participants gave feedback on how can we improve it. Because, you know, it's also important to make sure that the food is culturally appropriate. And in the spirit of food sovereignty, it's like, we doing this thing together. So give me feedback of how to make this work for you too. So it was pretty engaged. Like, we got a lot of good feedback. To really show like our impact. So our impact was the markets were growing consistently, so people liked the vibe of it. We were making money for Black farmers by giving them a market in the church, as well as people were engaged with it, coming consistently and buying the produce and actually using the produce, because we had food demonstration and cooking classes too, to introduce new items. So we had the sisters from Muhammad Ma's number 6 to come in, make bean pies, and then one market, I forgot, my bad, to pick up the bean pies to sell. And they was like, well, where they at?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where the bean pies at? So,
yo, that is an important metric though, for real. Like, when people like, yo, I'm missing something, or where is so and so, or how come that ain't happened, or even in your survey saying you can do this better, that means people are investing. That's really powerful. Like, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be real.